how you find the summons may not change. Using the summons, it would be nice if they could change that. One of the things they've talked about in recent press tours is how they have listened to fan feedback. One of the big issues with the gameplay of Final Fantasy VII Remake series so far, out of all of them, people nitpick about things here and there, but one of the things that people really agree on is the summoning system, how summons work, and just not being able to find those in the wild like you did the old game, like having to get it in Chadley's simulator. And the quest to unlock get information about the summons and stuff like that in the ancient ruins is cool, but then you have to go into the simulator and do all that kind of stuff. That I see what they're getting at, and we know what they're trying to do with it. They're trying to put you in a world where you're recreating the thing. You can't actually use the summon because it doesn't exist anymore, and the technology is trying to recreate it for you to use in the real world and produce like a faux materia for it. That being said, how you find the summons may not change. Using the summons, it would be nice if they could change that. One of the things they've talked about in recent press tours is how they have listened to fan feedback about how things work. They're going to tell their story, they're going to do the narrative the way they want, and they're not letting fans dictate that. What they are letting fans have feedback on is how the game plays, how you do certain things, how, upgrades to the battle system that they went from Remake to Rebirth. That was all fan interaction. They took notes from fans. It didn't dictate what they did, but they did take into consideration fan feedback. So in game number 3, one of the things that I'm hoping, and it looks like they may be doing something with, is how summons work. I know for a fact that people have been beating their door down about fix the summons. We want to see those work more in line with how they did in the OG game, the classic game. I believe they may make some changes to that. I believe it won't be completely how it used to play, but it would be nice, and I think they might do this, where it wasn't conditional, like you have to deal so much damage or you have to be in such dire straits that you have to have a summon come and rescue you from the battle. I would like to see, like, maybe be a timed thing. Like, you can't just come out in the beginning of a battle with a summon, but let's say you're in a battle for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and then like maybe you've had a timer or something like that. I think that might be kind of nice. Upgrading how you do the summons there, and maybe finding a few in the wild might be kind of nice too. Just more of the classic way of how summons work. Just the way summons work in battle now and how you have to attain them. For me and for a lot of you, I know it just doesn't work. And I really hope that's one of the things they address moving forward with the game. And I think they might. I think they might, because we know a big part of what's taking a bit of the development time for this third game is like a lot of stuff to the battle system. And they've said that, like, they're making big changes to like the system and how it plays, not necessarily the core battle system, but things about the battle system. And I think a lot of that is going to have to do with how the summons work and how they work in the world. Now, Chadley is your navigator with how that's like the person, that's the tutorial person, like tell you how this is how things work now. Like when they introduced the Rimwave towers and stuff, he was there to tell you about that and how it works and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of one of the few purposes he serves in the narrative of the game and teaching you how to play things. I could totally see them doing a thing in the third game where he's like, we've gotten so much data on these summons and stuff, now you can just find these and you know what you're doing with them now, and you can use them whenever you want. Like Chadley comes through and says, I've had some sort of temporal lock on these things for you, but now I can take the training wheels off and you can use them as you want. It's such deadly destructive power. I didn't want you to just be able to use it willy-nilly, but now you can use it as you wish. I trust you with it. I've seen you using them. I introduced you to it in Midgar. I've seen you playing around a little bit with it more in the open world here now. I'm taking the locks off. I've taken the locks off. If they want to do it in a story narrative way to work, to where it felt like you were building up to the third game and being able to use summons as you wish, then I think that would be a good way to do it. Also, you know, to do that, rather than going back and finding all the old summons again, you would need to have those summons carry over from the other games. So that's another aspect of it. But what do you all think? I know that you all would love to be able to play as a summoner, use summons as you wish in the game, but let me know your all's thoughts on that. Post your comments below. Let me know what you think. I've got a lot more theory, insight videos, and new stuff coming all the time throughout the day today, the rest of the week, next week, all that kind of stuff. So subscribe to the channel, hit me up, help us grow. We had a big bump in subscribers yesterday. I appreciate that. Let's keep that ball rolling. Let's keep it going. I would love to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I know that's a super lofty goal, but that is my goal for the end of this year. That's only a couple of months. I'm gonna try to hit 10,000 subscribers, and if we don't hit it by the end of the year, so what? We'll keep rolling. But anyway, hope y'all have a great day. Continue being good to each other. Continue rocking. Be good to each other, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.